I'm going to start a new project by clicking File, New. Here it is. And I'm going to show you the settings that you need to change here. You can see the width and the height first need to be specified, and we're going to use 11 as the width and 8.5 as the height. And of course, the units are going to be inches. Now be careful, because that is not the default. You want to come over here and choose inches for both values, and then enter in the width and height. If you get it mixed up, you can just click this reverse button right here. And that's going to be the case for my advanced students who are doing the comic strip project, because you guys are going to have the portrait style of layout. But my beginning students are probably going to want to go with the landscape layout. The resolution you should choose is the 350. You have two choices here. I'd go with the 350. And then the color is defaulting to transparent, but I prefer white. And just so you know, you can change the color here, but the white is the way to go. So this is what you're going to want to start off with: 11 by 8.5 inches, 350 resolution, color white, and hit OK. There are a lot of menus over here, and like I was saying before, you can fix the menus if you lose them. So I'm hitting little X in the menus right now, and I'm getting rid of all of them to show you that if you do lose all of your menus or move them in some way that you don't like, you can always go to the drop-down window menu here and choose Initialize and hit OK, and they will all go back to normal. So that is your fail-safe. If you ever lose your menus, you can go up to the window drop-down menu and hit Initialize. You can also pick and choose the menus that you want to see here. The very first tool that we're going to talk about is the brush tool. Over here on the far upper left corner, you can see the brush tool right there. And its menu is down here on the lower left. So if you choose the brush tool, you will then have the ability to pick a brush that you want to use. So here's the pen, and the default color is black. So if I draw with the black pen, I get something like this. Here's the watercolor brush. So you can see quite a difference. The menu directly above the brush tool menu is the brush preview, brush control and brush preview menus. So what they are doing is showing you the attributes of that particular brush. And you can see the watercolor wet has a lot of transparency to it. And that's what this slider is right here. This slider controls the transparency or opacity. And the slider right above it controls the size. So if I reduce the size of this brush, you can see the watercolor becomes much more fine. And if I increase the size, it becomes much larger. So that is where you control brush size, and this is where you control opacity. There are many different brushes. This sparkle one is a lot of fun. Look at this. Let's see how that works here. You can paint with sparkles. And there is an eraser brush as well. You can choose the eraser brush.
Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
There on on the bottom where it says brushes, there's like a little cloud with an arrow. I think it's that one, but you can download like other brushes. Like you can download like cloud brushes, you can download flower brushes and like stuff like that from the internet.
That is awesome. Let's click on that and see what happens. Look at that. So there's even more brushes that you can use, just a plethora. Thank you, Jessica, for pointing that out. Just unbelievable. And you can make your own brushes. So my understanding is some of these are uploaded from users. The way fonts are uploaded from various users on, for example, dafont.com. So you can contribute to it. So many different brushes. It's just amazing. The eraser brush, like I was saying, is a good way to erase work, and you can control its opacity as well. So you can see this bit I'm erasing right here, there's still some black showing through. But if you change the opacity from 38% here all the way up to 100, it will erase completely. So there it is, erasing completely like it was never there. And of course the size. You can change the size of that eraser so that it's quite large. The second tool on the tool menu is the same thing. There's the eraser tool right there. So you can basically use erase by using the paintbrush and then choosing the eraser brush, or you can just choose the eraser tool right there. And again, it's the exact same thing. So you can come in here and erase as such. So those are the two main tools that I wanted to talk to you about. The next menu I wanted to talk to you about, though, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the color menu over here. And when you do your logo, you're definitely going to want to choose some different colors. So to do that, you pick the initial hue off this color wheel. And then in this little box right here, you pick the exact shade of that color you want by clicking on it. So you can have the darker shade of green, the lighter shade of green, the more intense shade of green. So I'll change my brush, and there you can see I'm painting with this, the largest pencil they got, and it's an intense green color. There you go. I can reduce the size of that pencil much smaller, change the color, and then there you go, draw right over it. I think I'll show you just two more tools while we're here that are probably going to be pretty useful. And that's the shape tool and the paint bucket. So the shape tool, I'll click on that. If you look in the toolbar above, up on top here, you'll see whenever you choose a tool, this toolbar adjusts to show you the attributes of that tool. So if you choose the shape tool as we have, up pops different shape options. For example, the square here. So now I can draw squares, rectangles. And if you choose the circle, ellipse tool, there you go, you're drawing ellipses. And you can make crazy shapes as well, crazy polygons. So there's all kinds of things you can do with the shape tool. And then with the fill, with the bucket, you can fill in any of these lines that you section off. I'm going to delete everything I got here by simply selecting it, hitting Control A, that selects everything, and hit delete. By the way, here is the select menu. So you can pick everything as it shows you with Control A. That's how to basically to clear your screen. And then to deselect right beneath that, Control D, or click that button. But let's say you won't have have some cool designs like this, and you want to color them differently. I'm gonna make some overlapping areas here. So now I can go to the bucket, pick a color, and drop it into any of these cordoned off areas. So as long as it is defined by a line, you have the ability to paint it with the paint bucket. You're getting the idea here. There you go. So those are the probably the most fun tools, and those are the tools that they first start talking about in the tutorial steps 1 through 6. The last thing you're going to do is save your work, and that's pretty straightforward. You just go to File and Save, and I would save it to your computer. So you would say, no, I will save it on my computer, and then pick a location to save it, give it a name, and hit save. So there you go. That's all there is to it. Are there any questions?